Chicago and Bolingbroke. Vince Floyd and Lou Boudreau. Well, the sun is shining brightly here at Wrigley Field. It feels very, very much like a deep breeze with that wind blowing out of the north. But two hot rivals, the Cubs and the New York Mets, starting a three-game series here this afternoon, and I only hope, Lou, that Mr. Craig Swan, scheduled to start for the Mets today, is not quite as tough as he was when we faced him in New York.
Oh, let's hope that Dennis Lamp can hold his good stuff, a good thinker, with good control for 9 innings.
He pitched 7 strong innings against the Mets over there in New York. A couple of runs in those 7 innings, but that were too many, I should say, because Swan handed the Cubs a shutout in that performance over there. Manny Trio out of the Cub lineup today, and Mick Kelleher is going to be replacing him. Had a report that Manny going to the doctor because he had the flu. Another report that he had tonsillitis. Did you see him down there in the clubhouse?
No, I don't believe he's in the clubhouse. I don't believe he's going to be dressed for a couple of days.
Well, Mick Kelleher will be replacing him, and Ken Henderson, one of the 2 Henderson boys that demolished the Cubs in one of those ball games that these two teams played in at New York, has not been able to play since he injured a foot going up against the wall in a diving catch against the Cubs at Chase Stadium. So he's out of there, but they've got a very fine replacement for him, and that's Mr. Bruce Beauclair. This Mets ball club has surprised, I think, everybody in the league so far this year, off to such a fine start, 8-5, and virtually tied with the Philadelphia Phillies for first place.
I think they put everything together early in that season, and consequently they've won many games. They have 10 home runs with 41 RBIs. They've stolen 7 bases, and with the pitching, it's come around. Swan has improved tremendously, so we're going to see a different New York Mets team, I think, right now, who has gained a little confidence with those early victories.
Yes, he has. He had an outstanding spring training. I think had gone 22 innings in spring training without giving up a run. So they weren't too startled with his good outing so far this year. He has yet to give up an earned run in his first 2 starts, and that's not too bad. And of course, the Cubs know how tough he can be, and they already have a grand slammer in this ball club. Steve Henderson got that against Montreal.
Yeah, pinch hit job. I like to see our Cubs start hitting. Then this weather is not conducive to hitting. I think the pitchers have the advantage in this type of weather. So hopefully we'll get some more sunshine, a little warmer air around our Cubbies so they can start swinging those bats.
Well, the weatherman says tomorrow is going to be clear and a little bit warmer. Let's hope that he misses that. Let's hope it's going to be a lot warmer than it is today. The tobacco companies of Oak Brook and Old Chicago and Bolingbroke are pleased to announce the James Smithson cigars this year, over 100 years old. All you have to do to order is dial tobacco. And if you live outside area 312, call collect, dial 312, and then tobacco, the James Smithson cigar. Let's Talk Baseball, brought to us by the tobacco companies, located in the Oak Brook Shopping Center and in Old Chicago in Bolingbroke. Vince Floyd and Lou Boudreau. Lou has the leadoff man coming up in just a moment on WTN Radio, Chicago.
Hopefully. And it's the Cubs and the Mets today in the first of a 3-game series. The leadoff man is brought to you by Yale Insurance Agencies. We'll be talking to our guest, Greg Gross, in just 1 minute. Or drive in. That's Yale, the lower-cost auto insurance people. Greg Gross is our guest and the center field position today. Last year, his first year of the Chicago Cubs in 1977, Gross hit 322, 115 ball games. A lot of them were pinch hitting, but a lot of them were in the left field. How much experience have you had in center field, Greg?
Well, Lou, all my experience in center field has been, strictly in the minor leagues. I had come up through Houston's organization as a center fielder, but, they got Cedeno there, so once I did get to the big leagues, I was used in right field and left field down there. And last year when Jerry got hurt, that was the first time I'd been back in center field since I'd been in the minor leagues.
Is there a difference in playing center field than the corners?
Yeah, there is quite a bit, because you have to worry about the wall and the corners, especially here, and things, and you don't see the ball off the bat as well in left and right field as you do in center field. To me, as far as getting a good jump on the ball, I think center field is probably the easiest place to play.
What about distance and roaming right or left, which means it's a different throw, isn't it?
Well, it is. You got to cover a lot more ground playing center field, and consequently, you got to really concentrate, especially for me, a guy who doesn't have the real outstanding speed that a lot of center fielders had. I have to rely on playing the hitters right and getting a good jump on the ball and making sure I got my head in the game at all times. And playing center field, you got to really make sure you hit the cutoff man, because if you don't hit him there, the ball could roll, anywhere. Whereas in left to right field, the ball's down the line. You usually have a couple guys backing up and usually stopping the infield.
Greg, we are told that the most difficult play for a center fielder is that line drive hit directly over your head. Is it the same problem in left field or right field?
Yeah, it is. For an outfielder, well, for me anyway, it is the one directly hit right over your head, because for a split second, you don't know whether it's going to be in front of you to charge it or whether it is going to carry and go over your head. The only thing about playing center field, usually the ball won't hook or slice on you like it will in left or right field. If it's a line drive that in left field, it's coming at you, you don't know whether it's going to go out in front of you or behind you. If you start back, a lot of times it'll hook on you too, so that makes it even more difficult.
We have a lot of triple deck stadiums, one of them 5-deck stadiums, which means that wind does not curl around as it does here in Wrigley Field. That has to be something to contend with.
Well, that's true. Here it's tough to play, with the wind blowing in or out. Not basically the wind so much as the wind combined with the sun. Mm-hmm. Especially early in the year, the sun hangs sort of, right on top of the stadium. It's not as high as it usually is. Consequently, it's a little bit brighter and a little bit tougher to see. You can't put your glasses down too early, because the ball, if it doesn't get above the roof and then it's real dark, and then you'll lose it that way too. So it's something that you just got to concentrate on, and hopefully, you don't make any mistakes.
We have a lot of fans close to the ballpark, which means they are in the background of a ball coming off of the bat. Has that bothered you any here in Wrigley Field?
No, not too much, just because of the size of the park. It's a nice, compact park, and really I haven't had any trouble as far as losing the ball, with fans. Other parks I do, just because you have a lot of, they have multicolored seats, and most of them are bright now or silver-colored, and a lot of times you go to these parks and it's empty. They don't have people sitting in them, and I think that's worse than, losing the ball in the shirts.
When you're in the outfield, of course, as an infielder, you have to focus your eye on the swing, the contact of the ball, and be sure you get a good jump on that ball.
Yeah, and probably the only thing that hurts, the mistake an outfielder usually makes is the guy that takes the big swing and doesn't make real good contact, hits the ball in the end, and you can't tell from where you are. You don't really hear the crack of the bat real well, and you can't tell that he didn't hit it real well. And consequently, you're liable to take a step or two back because of the swing, and then end up the ball fall in front of you. And I think that's probably the most common thing that you'll see happening for an outfielder that misjudges the ball. It's just that, just that big swing, and you think he hits the ball hard, and he hit it off the end or something.
Greg, do you like to be platooned?
Well, no, I don't. I don't think any player does. Any of us will tell you that he'd rather play every day, but I'm happy, being here and getting a chance to play. My situation is much better this year than it was a year ago, so I'm happy with that, and I like Chicago, so I'm just going to go with it and see what happens.
Of course, after 1 year in Chicago, you know the situation, and your attitude is fine, and you're always ready to go. That means a great deal. And left-handers or right-handers don't make any difference to you. No,
not really. In Houston minor leagues, I played every day and hit left and right-handers. And the thing about our club is we have a luxury. We got guys on the bench that are good ball players, and we're probably equal in ability, and all of us can play. So it's a matter of determining, using everybody. He's got the right-handed hitter on the bench, he's got the left-handed hitter on the bench, and he's keeping everybody fresh. But a lot of teams don't have that luxury where they can throw 2 or 3 guys out there. They could play every day on a lot of clubs, but fortunately for us, we have really 4 guys that can play center field and play it well. So we're in luxury right now.
He also has the opportunity of changing Gross from center to left too when he wants to, which he has done in the latter part of the ball game.
Yeah, that's just something else, and he can do that and put somebody in, and he still has bench strength with 2 guys or more to pinch it, so he's really not hurting himself. And that just makes us a much better ball club all the way around, I think.
Greg, many thanks for talking with us on the Leadoff Man Show, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Lou.
Greg Gross, fine gentleman, and outfielder with the Chicago Cubs, was our guest. Say, do you know what's one of our great vanishing American assets?
Chicago Cubs are on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Major League Baseball. From very, very chilly Wrigley Field in Chicago, where the sun is shining brightly, but a stiff wind coming in out of the north, cooling things off considerably. As the Cubs take on the New York Mets to close out the homestand today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And, of course, this is the second series between these two Eastern Division rivals this year. The Cubs took 2 out of 3 against New York at Shea Stadium early in the season. And the one game that they lost was when they were shut out by the big right-hander Craig Swan. And it is Swan who is going to be their mound man today against Dennis Lamp, the rookie for the Cubs. And Lamp opposed Swan in that game at Shea Stadium. Pitched well, but he wound up the losing pitcher. His only decision so far in this season. I'm Vince Lloyd, and along with Lou Boudreau, we welcome you to our broadcast. Today's game from Wrigley Field is brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. Not just a name, it's their way of doing business. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. The Association of Chicagoland McDonald's Restaurant. Have breakfast at McDonald's tomorrow, and don't forget the game tomorrow will start 15 minutes earlier than today. And again on Sunday, it'll be 15 minutes earlier than today. The Chicagoland Gallup Men of Olds, the place to test drive the new Olds Cutlass for 1978. And General Finance's 70 Chicagoland offices. To borrow up to $10,000, call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020. Starting lineup for Joe Torre in the Mets today, and they come in here with a fine record. They've won 8, lost 5. They are just a few percentage points behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who have played only 8 games so far this year. With the bad weather that has hit the nation ever since the first couple of opening days of the season, the Phillies have been wiped out of a few. As a matter of fact, there's already been a postponement of the National League today. The Montreal Expos were to host Philadelphia, and that game has already been called off up in Montreal. Yeah, you're right, cold weather. And they are planning to play a doubleheader up there tomorrow to make it up. But here, even though the temperature at game time is 38 degrees, that's the lakefront temperature, they're going to get this one underway. And leading off for the New York Mets against Dennis Lamp will be Lenny Randall. Randall at third. Doug Flynn will be at second base, batting second. Bruce Beauclair, Boisclair, will be in right field, hitting third. Steve Henderson in left field, batting cleanup. Willie Montañez at first base, Montañez hitting fifth. Lee Matzilli in center field, Matzilli batting sixth. Johnny Stearns, the catcher, hitting seventh. And batting eighth, playing at shortstop, Tim Pulley, with Craig Swan, big right-hander, on the hill. He has yet to give up an earned run this year. Before I give you the Cub lineup, let's take a moment here for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
For the Cubs, Ivan DeJesus to lead off at shortstop. Greg Gross will be in center field, batting second. Larry Bittner at first base, hitting third. Buckner still out of the lineup with that tender ankle. And he injured it against this ball club with a double at Shea Stadium. Bobby Mercer will be in right field, hitting cleanup. Dave Kingman hitting fifth. Dave in left field. Steve Ontiveros at third base, batting sixth. Dave Rader, the catcher. Rader batting seventh. With Mick Kelleher at second base. Manny Trio out of the lineup. Constellatus. Kelleher batting eighth. And Dennis Lamp, the Cubs rookie right-hander, starting pitcher for this afternoon. He has started 2 ball games so far and suffered defeats in both of them. Worked 10 1/3 innings so far. Dennis's earned run average is a high one. He has allowed 8 earned runs in 10 1/3 innings. That means his ERA is up there over 7. Let's see if he can't bring it down today. But against the Mets, he worked 7 strong innings. And they got to him for 3 doubles. I believe it was in the 4th inning at Shea Stadium. 1 or 2 of them were pretty well hit. There was another one kind of fluky, but of course they all count. And they got those 2 runs off of him. That proved to be enough for the ball game. But then they went and locked it up against the Cub relief pitching later in the afternoon and wound up winning it handily by a score of 6-0. And Swan, of course, going the distance. Our broadcast is authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. It's solely for the entertainment of our audience. any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. They mentioned the Mets winners of 8 out of their first 13 ball games, but losers in the series against the Cubs at Shea Stadium trail the Philadelphia Phillies by 10 percentage points. Then the Cubs in third place starting today, a game out, and with the Philadelphia Phillies already postponed, the Cubs, of course, could pick up a half game on them, but that would be it. Then the Montreal Expos locked at 5-5, a game and a half away. The St. Louis Cardinals, 2 games below the 500 mark at 5-7. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, who've played only 10 games so far, 3 wins and 7 losses. They're 3.5 away. The Cincinnati Reds, who lost their last game of that series to the Los Angeles Dodgers, idled yesterday while the Dodgers defeated Houston 5-1. Have a half-game lead over Los Angeles in the National League Western Division starting today. They're followed by the San Francisco Giants, 2 games out. Then the Houston Astros, 3 away. San Diego, 4.5 out. And Atlanta's Braves with 3 wins, 8 losses, 5 games off the pace in the cellar of the Western Division. The White Sox, who've been idle now for a couple of days, planning to play up at Toronto later this afternoon. And in their Western Division, the leader, the Kansas City Royals, who, after dropping their opening game of the season, have gone on to capture 8 straight victories. And Kansas City in first place, and the surprise there is the second place entry in the American League West. That's the Oakland A's. They have won 8 and lost only 3. And Johnny Finley's got to be pretty happy with a rebuilt ball club to, at this point, in second place, only a game behind Kansas City, followed by the California Angels, who may be up there all season long if they can keep their guys healthy this year. They're a game and a half out. And the White Sox, the game under the 500 mark now after having suffered that sweep against the New York Yankees. With Minnesota Twins, a game behind the Sox. They're followed by the expansion Seattle Mariners, 6.5 away. And holding up that Western Division, surprisingly enough, the Texas Rangers, who, when you get into the month of September, should be battling for that leadership along with Kansas City, California, and the White Sox. In the Eastern Division, surprising Detroit Tigers under Ralph Houk, off to a very fine start. They're in a rebuilding process over at Detroit. The Tigers have won 7 out of their first 9 ball games. They are a few percentage points ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who figure to be a solid contender all season long. And then Milwaukee, off to a good start, but they now have dropped to the 500 mark. They're 2.5 away with the New York Yankees, a game below the 500 mark. 5 wins, 6 defeats for New York, 3 games away. Then the Cleveland Indians, 3.5, Baltimore 4, and the Toronto Blue Jays, the Sox opponent later this afternoon up in Canada. In last place, they've won 3 and lost 8 so far, and they're 5 games out. That brings you up to date on the standings in both leagues. And the umpiring crew for this afternoon's game, meeting at home plate now with Phoenix Lowry, Herman Frank's number 1 aide, and Joe Torre in his first full season as skipper of the New York Mets. Greg Crawford is slated to work behind the plate today. Doug Harvey on the line at first. Andy Olson umpiring at second base, and Jim Quick is slated to work at third. While we have a bright, clear blue sky, that wind coming in off the lake at about 12 miles per hour is making it a very frigid ballpark this afternoon. To mention the temperature here at game time, 38 degrees. That's about 7 degrees lower than it is where they take the official reading down at Midway Airport on the southwest side. Tomorrow should be a pretty interesting matchup here insofar as the pitching is concerned. I'm sure a lot of you will recall that when Rick Russell and Jerry Koosman were mound opponents at Shea Stadium, a hassle developed. It all developed with Steve Henderson at the plate, Russell pitching, and just as Russell was about to go into his delivery with a windup, time was called. Rick didn't know at the time, and of course, I had no way of knowing that Henderson's bat had tipped the miss of catcher Dave Rader, and so time had to be called. Rick disgustedly threw the bat up in the air, or ball up in the air, and on his next pitch then to Henderson, he hit him. But he was just trying to brush him back. Well, when Russell came to bat in the bottom half of that inning, he was decked by Jerry Koosman. Both dugouts had been warned after Henderson was hit, so it meant that Koosman was thrown out of the game. And those two guys will be bound opponents tomorrow. Now, our national anthem. Getting set to face Lenny Randall to open up the ball game, and we'll be back in a moment for the first pitch right after this message.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Hi, Bob. It's Kathy Roller.
Oh, hi, Kathy. Still entering those advertising contests?
Uh-huh. Just listen to my latest entry.
Okay.
Why are Ajax doorknobs best? Because they're better than the others.
How many have you won, Kathy?
None altogether, and I have to pay for so much postage I can't pay all my bills.
Ooh, you need a consolidation loan.
My bills are powerful, very high. They almost reach onto the ceiling.
Well, we can turn them all into one easy monthly payment.
Oh, joy and wonder is
Kathy,
my...
next entry, try to make things rhyme.
Oh, there's a thought.
Well?
Like this? When you call Bob, he's very friendly to help you out. He'll over backward Bentley.
That's better.
Thanks, Bob.
You can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
The 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Just call Andover 3-2020. Also an office in McHenry.
General Finance. Lenny Randall off to a slow start so far as hits are concerned, but as a leadoff man, he has run a dozen bases on balls, and that's pretty good. He's struck out 5 times, but his batting average is a very anemic 143. With only half a dozen hits in his first 42 trips to the plate, one of them a double, driven in 3 runs. Dennis mentioned has worked a total now of 10 in the 3rd innings, and this is rookie season with the Chicago Cubs. A right-hander with a very fine sense of humor and a good ability to mimic people. Wears glasses, big, strong, and he's got a lot of guts. Bill Maxville, former fine shortstop, much of his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. Coaching down at third this year for the Mets, and Denny Summers in the coach's box at first. Bright sunshine and a cold day with the wind coming in. Wind up at the pitch. He tries a bunt, gets it on the third base side of the mound. Picked up by pitcher, and his peg is in time to first base. Dennis Lamp coming off the mound in a hurry. And Lenny Randall trying to get something started with a bunt. He is pegged out of there. With the bases empty, Chuck Flynn steps in. He came over to the Mets last year, June 15th, in the big deal. It also brought him Steve Henderson out of the Cincinnati Reds organization. At Zachary for Tom Seaver. Right-hander hitting .333. Takes the fastball. It misses inside above the knees. Ball 1. 27 years of age now. Headstand straight away. Dennis Wines, here's the delivery. Swung out, a ground ball, charging in at Kelleher at second base. Mixed off over to first baseman Larry Bittner is in plenty of time. There are 2 gone. That'll bring up Bruce Beauclair, left-handed hitting right fielder. Kenny Henderson smashed up against the wall, making an excellent try against the Cubs at Shea Stadium. Has been out of action since then. Turned out that he hurt his foot. And the doctor was telling me before the ball game today that not sure how long that Ken will have to be out of the lineup after that. And says it's right where he puts an awful lot of pressure on it. And, of course, cold weather, the bad gear, there's the ball too high. And the rain and cold that they endured down at St. Louis in their series hasn't helped matters at all. Beauclair hitting .333, swings and he taps a foul ball over into the New York Mets dugout behind first base, and the count is 1-1 on the left-hander. 25 years of age. Good speed. He has a homer this year and has driven in 4 runs. Half a dozen hits. 5 singles and a homer. 2 out, bases empty. Lamps delivery. Fastball. And the big right-hander misses just outside of the knees. Ball 2, strike 1. Well, straight away in center field for Beauclair. Very wide stance at the plate. And its fastball is high and away. Ball 3, strike 1. Dave Kingman patrolling in left field today. And he's well off the line for Beauclair. And in right field is Bobby Mercer. Here's the windup. 3-1 delivery. Swung on and a drive to Kingman. Going back. And to his right. He's there. Reaches up and he one-hands it for the out to retire the side. He was playing the ball most perfectly. 3 up, 3 down. And the Cubs come to bat against Craig Swan. After a half inning at Wrigley Field, no score.
True Value Hardware stores want you to stay in tune with a busy summer ahead, so they offer General Electric portable radios to help you tune in your favorite music, news, or sporting events. Now, for example, they offer the GE AM, FM, TV band radio that lets you listen to your favorite AM or FM radio station or listen to TV programs on VHF channels 2 through 13 without a TV set. It operates on house current or battery, so you can use it anywhere. Yet it's just $34.88. True Value Hardware stores also offer the General Electric AM/FM pocket-sized portable radio with a 2.5-inch speaker, FM antenna, direct tuning, horizontal readout for only $12.99. Get GE portable radios at participating True Value Hardware stores. True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that means
Swan, 27 years of age, and while he's been a losing pitcher for the New York Mets coming into this season, he gives every indication so far, at least, both in spring training and his first 2 outings for him this year, that he has arrived. 27 years of age, big and strong, 6'3", about 215. Not yet given up an earned run this year in 16 innings. There have been a couple of runs scored while he is pitching, but primarily as a result of teammates' errors. But he's struck out 9 men while walking only 2 in 16 innings, and those 2 walks against the Cubs in the 9 innings in which he shut them out on a 5-hitter at Shea Stadium. DeJesus stepping in against the right-hander. Ivan hitting .333 with 4 runs batted in. And Swan starts the windup. First pitch. Ivan takes a breaking ball for a strike. Joe Malfitano, usual coaching at third, and Cookie Rojas in the coach's box over at first, and Swan winds. DeJesus swings on a fastball, and he fouls it. 0-2. Lee Mazzilli, very fast in center field. Down the left field, Steve Henderson. There's a ball. Ball 1, strike 2. With Beauclair in right. Beauclair now being waved farther over towards the right field foul line. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed a good fastball. Had him lunging out across the plate going after it. Bill Swan picks up where he left off. Strikeout to open up the bottom of the first. That brings up Greg Gross, batting .304 with 4 runs batted in for the season. No homers. The Cubs so far have had only 4 home runs and 2 off the bat of Larry Bittner. 1 by Bill Buckner, 1 by Dave Kingman. Fastball, back to left-hander away, ball 1. Swan delivers. Strike called at the letters. Third baseman Lenny Randall up in the edge of the grass where it's cut away. Mazzilli playing well over into left center field, and they give Gross the right field line. And the curve too high. Ball 2, strike 1. Johnny Stearns, the catcher. Flashy fielding, Willie Montanez at first. Here's the pitch. He goes after it, fouls it out of play over to the left side. Doug playing at second. Jim Pulley over at shortstop. And Lenny Randall at third. And it is cold. 2-2 delivery. Red fouls that one out of play to the left side. Making Swan work. Guzman and Russell tomorrow. And Ray Burris scheduled the pitch here Sunday to close out the homestand. 2-2 delivery. Swung on and a little pop-up to the third baseman. Lenny Randall grabbing it right inside the line, about 12 feet back of third. 2 gone. No score. Larry Bittner stepping in. Looked like his homer the other day was going to win the ball game for the Cubs against the Expos, but they came up with those 4 runs in the 9th inning to win it. Larry hitting .276. As I mentioned, pair of homers and 5 runs batted in. Left-hander deep in the batter's box. Swan's first pitch. It's a little high, ball 1. I want to remind you that Jacket giveaway weekend is going to be coming up very shortly when the Cubs return from their next home trip. 1-0 delivery. Bittner takes the strike of fastball at the letters. That's going to be Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th. The Cubs against the San Francisco Giants. Swan ready with a windup. 1-1 delivery. Bittner checks and it misses high. 2-1 on him. If you're 13 and under, you'll take home a pretty nifty 12-gauge final windbreaker complete with the Cubs emblem. To qualify, on either day, you must be among the first 15,000 youngsters, 13 or younger. Here's a swing and a bouncing ball to Martinez. He's got it. Underhand toss to Swan. Bittner is retired, and the Cubs, like the Mets in the first inning, go down 1-2-3. Now, to get the rest of that in on those Jacket bleacher tickets, not included in the fully paid admissions. So, make a note of it. Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th, the Cubs and the Giants, Jacket weekend. The end of 1 at Wrigley Field, no score.
When you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. A great light beer called Old Style from God's country. Heileman's Old Style is brewed in a traditional old world way called poisoning. Poisoning is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman has been brewing beer this way since we first opened our doors back in 1853. Poisoning is what makes Old Style the great light beer it is today. Taste the difference poisoning makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Steve Henderson to lead off. A lot of the folks here in winter garb, and including those of us in the radio and television booths over in the press box. They got the windows in there to protect them from the wind and some heaters. Here we just brave the elements. A lot of folks with blankets around them. And here's an advanced scout, former pitcher. Advanced scout for the Cincinnati Reds, Ray Shore. Look at him down there, Lou. He just got his suit on, that's all. He's tough, man. He's also a little silly. And you're taking a look at the Mets. Sitting right behind the Wes Western, former catcher and manager. And scout also now. Steve Henderson stepping in. Swings at the first pitch. Liner caught by Mick Gallagher. Quick step going towards first base. The Cubs second baseman grabbed it. Henderson hitting it hard, but he's retired on one pitch. He starts today, by the way, hitting only 188. He has 3 homers, including a grand slammer. Run away. Bases empty. Left-handed hitting, Willie Montagnier. Sporting a 175 batting average so far. Out of action for a while with a bad hand. Injured it getting back into first base just prior to the Cubs going into New York against the Mets. That was their first series of the season against Montreal. Guy's a good hitter. Martinez takes, and there is a ball that just misses from Dennis. Fastball. He has 7 hits and 40 trips to the plate this year. One of them a homer for Martinez, and 3 runs batted in. Wind up the pitch. Takes a strike on the inside corner, and he jumped back a little bit from that one. And 11 times in 40 at-bats. He likes to take his cuts. Don't score. Lamp winds, Dennis's pitch. Martinez checks it, the fastball that's low and outside. Ball 2, strike 1 on him. Lamp peers through those glasses. Rader gets his sign, a big right-hander in the windup. Martinez swings, he got a piece of that one. Bounced it back foul to Rick Ferrari. The usher in charge of the extra baseballs, who caught one unexpectedly the other day. Right over the left eye. Had to go in and have some stitches put in. Now to 2-2. On Martinez with the switch-hitting young center fielder, Lee Mazzilli, in the on-deck circle. First 4 Mets have gone down. Dennis gets his sign. 2-2 delivery. Martinez swings and a drive to Kingman in left field. He's going back and to his right. He's there. Reaches up one, hands that one. 2 gone. And here's Mazzilli. Mazzilli. Hitting .244 for the year. Speedster, a couple of homers, and 4 runs batted in. A hard shot to get one into the seats in center or left field here today. Dennis delivers. Fastball. Mazzilli picks it a little low. Ball 1. Johnny Stearns, the catcher, has moved into the on-deck area. Here's the windup to deliver. There's the strike. Took it just about at the belt. Ball 1, strike 1. We'll be at Philadelphia for night games starting Monday. There's a bunt drag on the first base side. Charging in his Bittner. Can he get him? Takes a slipping dive at him, and he missed him. His first base umpire, Doug Harvey, who came up quickly and had a good look at the play. A beautiful drag bunt single by Mazzilli. He also missed the ball. He didn't have a ball in his glove. But he sure tried to scoop it up and made the dive and left the ball there on the grass. Good bunt for a single. And they'll have to keep an eye on him, and they do. Make a throw over to first base, and he's back safely. Johnny Stearns, a right-handed hitting catcher in there. He's hitting .146 with a half a dozen hits, including a double. Driven in 2 runs. Kelly doesn't go, and Stearns looks at a strike. Stearns stands straight away. Throw by Dennis over to Bittner at first, and a runner back safely again. Kingman very deep for Stearns in left field. Gross shading him to full. Gap between Gross and the right fielder. Mercer, another throw, and Mazzilli jumping back in the bag just in time. Right clear, but really cold. 0-1 pitch he goes. Stearns swings on the hit and run, and he hits a high fly ball. Kingman coming in. Who's going to get it? He does. Grabs it on the run. He hollered to Jesus Saab. And that retires aside. And the ball holding up, hanging up long enough. Big Dave, those long legs of his in gear, and reach out finally, makes the 2-handed catch. No runs, a bunt single. 1 man left. And the Cubs come to bat at Wrigley Field. Leading off will be Bobby Mercer, then Kingman and Adebares against Frank Swan, and there's no score. Bobby Mercer batting .244 to lead off. And he's just now coming out from near the dugout over on the third base side. He is to be followed by Kingman and then Steve Adebares. Our start in Philadelphia Monday night will be a little bit later than normal. We'll be there Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, and no baseball Thursday, and then we'll conclude that road trip, the second of the season, down in Atlanta. A couple of night games and a day game against the Braves before getting back to Chicago. Bobby steps in. Foul. fouls, the first pitch, and a check swing. Jimmy Enright, public address announcer here at Wrigley Field and former great sports writer in Chicago and great official. We'll take on an extra chore here. I want to tell you about it in a minute. Here's the pitch to Bobby. A fastball is high, 1-1. It'll be the master of ceremonies for the 6th annual Greater Illinois National Hemophilia Foundation dinner. 1-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. Fastball, letter high away. It's going to be held at the Marriott on Higgins Road. Wednesday evening, May 17th. Jimmy Rivera is supposed to be there. Stan Makita from the Blackhawks. And, boy, we wish them good luck tonight against those Bruins. Ernie Banks is to be honored. Ron Santo will be there. There's a swing and a foul. Back up onto the screen, 1-2. And bowling, Hall of Famer Buddy Bomar. Dave Muckensturm from the Bears. Bobby Douglas. Doug Plank. Fastball. Swan misses high. 2-2 on Mercer. It'll be Wednesday night, May 17th at the Marriott, the Illinois Chapter National Hemophilia Foundation. Fastball in on him, and he fouls it over to the third base side. Out of play. Still 2-2 on Bobby. Swan getting a new baseball. Let's take a moment here for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau here with you at Wrigley Field where the sun is shining brightly. Swan delivers. 2-2 pitch. Goes after it. Fouls it back out of play. But, man, it is not good baseball weather. It's just too doggone cold. Well, the man says tomorrow it's going to warm up a little bit. It could use a lot of warming up. And Sunday, they'd say, we may have a couple of showers, but warmer weather again. 2-2 delivery. Swung on. Mercer fouls that fastball down the left field side out of play. Mets as a team have hit only 201 so far this year. But 10 homers for this ball club. 41 runs batted in. Swan takes dead aim, but he misses high and tight. Ball 3. Strike 2 on Mercer, leading off the second inning. Cubs as a team hitting .257. They have only 4 homers. 3-2 pitch. Fastball, high and outside for ball 4. So Bobby opens the second inning, inducing a walk from Craig Swan. Only his 3rd this year in 17 innings. And here is the guy who was, a year ago at this time, was wearing the Mets uniform, Dave Kingman. Today batting .222. Homer, he got a line drive shot over at Pittsburgh in the opening series of the season. Driven in 3 runs, and he checks his swing on Swan's first pitch, a strike just above the D's. He turns, wants to check sign from Malfitano, see if anything might be on. Flynn, the second baseman, just a few feet on the first base side of the bag at second. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss. Down and in on him. 0-2. Randall fairly deep at third. Left fielder Steve Henderson is deep. And Mazzilli deep in left center. Here's the delivery. Swung on. He handcuffed. He bounced it over to the third baseman. Charging against Randall. Has only one play. Throws to first base. Kingman is out of there, but Bobby gets to second base. Good pitch by Swan. 1 out. And out of there, stepping in with a runner in scoring position in this scoreless game. Steve hitting just 143 as a left-hander. He has 1 for 9 so far this year. Nursing a bad back and a pulled hamstring. Neither history helped much by the chilly weather. First pitch to him. Takes it a little high. Ball 1. Don Albert, our engineer today. Jack Minovich, our producer. Mazzilli is shallowed up considerably and well over into left center field for Oliveris. Batting lefty, of course. Runner at second. 1 out, 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball. And he takes it, misses. 2-0. Earned run average of the New York Mets staff, a dandy 2.34. He without Seaver and MetLife. 2-0 pitch. Strike call. A good fastball. 2-1. Cubs earned run average. A very respectable one, but of course it's higher than that 2.34 of the Mets. Cubs 3.12. Fastball. It's too high. Swan now behind on Olivares, and a base hit here could get the Cubs on the board. Walked Mercer to lead off the inning. Now he's on at second with one away, and a 3-1 delivery coming up from the right-hander. Olivares swings, and he fouls it down the left field line. Late going after it. 3-2. Cubs so far at Wrigley Field this year, 5 games, 3 wins, 2 losses. Game rained out yesterday is going to be made up on Labor Day against Montreal. It'll be a doubleheader for the Expos on Labor Day. Now the 3-2 pitch, and Olivares goes after it. It's a high fly ball. Should be caught by Maxelli. Shades his eyes in shallow center field. Youngster reaches up and hauls it in. Mercer has to hold. 2 gone. That brings up the left-handed hitting catcher, Dave Rader. He's in shallow center field. Youngster reaches up and hauls it in. Mercer has to hold. 2 gone. Including 3 doubles and 5 runs batted in. Nick Keller due up next. Johnny Stearns going out to talk to Swan very briefly. Last year against the Cubs, Swan had 1 decision of victory. In his career with New York, he has 6 wins now and lost only twice to the Cubs. Dave levels the bat. Now cocks it. Here's the stretch. And a high pop-up down the left field foul line. Coming in forward is Steve Henderson, and he's there, and he grabs it. So the walk to Bobby Mercer produces nothing in the run department for the Cubs. No hit, man left on, and at the end of 2 innings of play at Wrigley Field, there's no score.
Look out and behold, you make our lives a pleasure again. From the very first moment we see you, we're gonna do our honest best. Look out and behold, understand it's the name of the game. We want to see you here again and again, so we're gonna treat you right. Look out and behold, we make our lives a pleasure again. Look out and behold, have some fun together, play talk and feel, take your time deciding, watch it and feel, right at home at Old Pro B. Look out and behold, we make our lives a pleasure again. Look out and behold, we make our lives a pleasure again.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau here with you at Wrigley Field, and hope to see you out here tomorrow or Sunday when the Cubs close out the homestand against the Mets. Lou, come on in. Thank you, Vince. 3rd inning. No score. Lamp against Swan of New York. In the 3rd inning, it'll be Foley, Swan, and then the top of the order, Lenny Randall for the Mets. Both pitchers using good fastballs today on this cold weather day. Cubs have only touched Swan for 1 base runner, and that was a walk by Mercer. While the New York Mets have only 1 hit, and that was a bunt by Maxelli. Now here is Tim Foley, the veteran shortstop at bat. Right-handed hitter. First pitch by the Cubs right-hander. Low sinker outside, ball 1. Cubs play Foley 2 pull. There's a fastball low, and it's ball 2. No strike. 2 up next in the on-deck circle. Swing and a ground ball to shortstop. To Jesus charges it. Gloves it. Fires the first. 1 out. To Jesus. An improved defensive shortstop. And he's hitting the ball well. Starting off this season, .333. But His movement around shortstop is very noticeable. He has improved tremendously. Not only playing the hitters, but he has loosened up considerably and has more confidence in his defensive play. Consequently, he can move and add a step or two to the right or to the left. And he always has had a great arm. The first pitch to Swan, ball one, low. The pitch on the way is a swing and a foul, out of play. 1-1 to count. Philadelphia's game in Montreal scheduled for this afternoon was postponed because of rain. And Montreal's going to double up immediately. That's tomorrow, which certainly helps the Cubs. In this respect, there's one fouled out of play, is that the Cubs go into Philadelphia Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's going to be interesting to see how Danny Ozark lines up his pitching. Swinging a ground ball to the second baseman. Kelleher has it. Tosses it to Bittner, 2 out. So the Cubs may miss Carlton unless Ozark decides to move him up with not the normal rest that he gets between starts. But right now, the problem at hand, the Mets. Randall hitting, attempted the bunt, and was tossed out in the first inning. He's batting with 2 outs here in the third. Nobody on base. Fastball for a strike call. He took it, knew it was a strike. Taveras in shallow at third, just in case. There's a curveball that breaks low, ball 1. 1-1 to count. Gross in center field, playing Randall a swing late. He's in left center. 1-1 pitch on the way. Checks his swing in time as that ball is sinking all the way and is out of the strike zone. It's ball 2, strike 1. Tonight, Atlanta will be at San Diego, Houston at Los Angeles, Cincinnati at San Francisco, St. Louis at Pittsburgh. Swing and a one-hopper to DeJesus. He has it. Doesn't hold on to that ball long. Fires to Bittner for the out. So the Mets go out 1, 2, 3 in the third inning. No runs, no hits. Nobody left on base. Cubs coming to bat. Third inning, no score.
Fans, the next time you have an appetite for fine French cuisine, go directly to Jacques Garten at 900 North Michigan Avenue in Chicago and Carte Blanche. Jacques Garten is one of many fine restaurants in Chicago where your Carte Blanche card will allow you to spoil, indulge, and treat yourself to the kind of food nobody can make at home. Dinner always tastes a little better when you have it with style with your Carte Blanche card, because people know Carte Blanche denotes more than an average measure of distinction, taste. And with a Carte Blanche card, you can travel with style, too. You can Carte Blanche your airline tickets, Carte Blanche your rented car, Carte Blanche your hotel bill. Keep your card with you wherever you go, and Carte Blanche your way through over 250,000 doors across the country, including Jacques Garten. Carte Blanche. You'll know you're going first class. So will everyone else. Well, through the first 2.5 innings, this game has been very even. Cubs have had 1 base runner. The Mets have had 1 base runner. Top of the third inning, the 8th man in manager Torrey's lineup led off the inning, and now here in the bottom of the third inning, Kelleher, the 8th man in Herman Franks' lineup, will lead off the inning. Mick Kelleher at the present, hitting 1,000. He is 1 for 1. Let's see if he can make it 2 for 2. Swan is ready. Gets a sign from Stearns, then steps back off the pitching rubber. Now he steps once again. The first pitch to Kelleher. Fastball high, ball 1. Low, ball 2 to Kelleher. Well, we want to send well greetings to young Dennis Baker in the Ingles Memorial Hospital in Harvey. There's one high, and it's ball 3 to Kelleher. So it'd be nice to get the leadoff man on in this inning.
Mercer walked leading off the second, but could not score. There's a strike right down the middle. 3-1 the count. In the American League, White Sox at Toronto later on this afternoon. Kansas City at Baltimore, Texas at Detroit. Strike 2 called over the inside corner. Full count. 3-2 on Kelleher. Tonight, California will be at Minnesota, Milwaukee at New York, and Cleveland at Boston. 3-2 pitch to Kelleher. Pops up down the right field line. Wynn carries it into the bullpen and carries it out of play. Away from Boyce Clare, the right fielder. So Kelleher gets another chance. You know, the Cubs have a truly interesting crop of potential plus youngsters in their organization. You're going to want to read all about them in the new spring roster book. 72 pages thick. 8 more than last year. Jam-packed with the most complete statistical information imaginable. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Inside ball 4. Second runner for the Cubs and the second walk by Swan. All you have to do to get your roster book, you can get yours at Wrigley Field or send $1 to roster book, Wrigley Field, Chicago 60613. Add 25 cents per order for postage and handling. This message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Here's Dennis Lamp at bat. He's going to bunt on the first pitch. He does, but bunts it foul. Down the first base line, as it crosses that foul line, Montanez is there to glove it. Third baseman Randall, of course, is charging, so Dennis Lamp is trying to bunt the ball down the first base line. Montanez has to hold the runner on, and then at the last moment break towards the plate. So he loses a step or two, coming in from that standing position. Next pitch on the way. There's the bunt down the first base line, but again, this bunt is foul as Swan keeps that good high fastball away from Lamp. He just can't not push it into fair territory. 2 strikes on Lamp. He checks down to the third base coach, Amalfitano, to see if Herman Franks wants him to try again. Swan is ready. He's set. Here's the pitch. Lamp is going to bunt. He bunts it foul. So credit Swan with his second strikeout of the day, as Lamp is a strikeout pitcher, trying to bunt with 2 strikes on him, and he fouls the pitch off. Now here's the Jesus. Struck out first time against Swan. No score. We're in the third inning. Kelleher with a lead off first. Swan looks at him. Here's the pitch. Strike call over the outside corner to the Jesus. 1 out. Kelleher still at first. Swan checks Kelleher. There he goes, and he stops as the pitch out was called for by Stern. And Kelleher, after taking 2 quick steps towards second base, decides to get back to first. 1-1 to count. Now let's see if something is on. Jesus in the batter's box, levels the bat over the plate. Swan set. Here's the pitch, and there's a swing and a foul right into the glove of Stern. Strike 2. Cubs won the first 3-game series against the Mets, 2-1. The pitch to the Jesus, pop foul over the Mets dugout. The wind carries it out of play. The only Met victory was, of course, Swan's shutout victory. And he defeated the Cubs and Dennis Lamp, his pitching opponent today, 6-0. The Jesus with another chance to see if he can advance Kelleher. And here's the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. There goes Kelleher, and he stops. Here's a down ball to Randall's left. He gloves it, gets it out of his glove to Flynn. The throw to first is not in time. Kelleher going into second base. Randall caught the ball right on the end of his glove, on his fingertips. Threw it to Flynn, who got rid of it quickly to Montanez, but the Jesus beats the relay throw. So the Jesus on first with a fielder's choice. Here's close at bat. Left-handed hitter with 2 outs. The Jesus, the base runner. We can look for a steal in this particular spot. Ron is looking at the Jesus. quickly fires to the plate, ball one high. Jesus has one stolen base thus far this year. He was the Cubs leader in that department last year. He's been thrown out twice. Drawn set. Here's the pitch. Strike call. Over the outside corner, it's now 1-1. Let me tell you, that Stearns is ready to fire the ball. He is on the move as soon as Swan delivers the ball to the plate, anticipating a steal by the Jesus. Swan set. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen. If the Jesus is going, he will be going now on this pitch. Gross, there's only one strike left. So Herman Franks may gamble. The stretch by Swan. The pitch on its way is high. 2-2 on Gross. Martinez holding Kelleher on at first, but there's no score. We're in the third inning. Here's the stretch. There goes Jesus. He stops as Gross fouls that ball back to the screen. The Jesus also giving two quick steps towards second base and then stopping abruptly. 2-2. The count. 2 out. Swan looks at the Jesus. There he goes. Here's a pitch. Down ball base hit to center field. The Jesus round second base. They'll go to third. Cubs have runners on first and third. 2 out. And Bittner the hitter. That is the first Cub hit of the day. Now, Bittner, who grounded to the first baseman in the first inning, has a chance to give the Cubs a lead. Mazzelli, center fielder, plays Bittner to swing late. He's in left center. Right fielder Boyd Clare off of the foul line. First pitch, top foul into the upper deck. Strike one to Larry. He'll be followed by Mercer. The Jesus at third. Gross is at first. Here's the pitch. Curveball high. That one didn't break. 1-1 to count. Swan has a sign from Stern. Checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to Flynn's right. He clubs it on his knees. He throws to Foley to force Gross. A very fine defensive play by Flynn as Bittner hit the ball well, but just got out of Flynn's reach. And Gross is forced at second base for a third out. In the third inning, no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on a base pass. At the end of 3, no score.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Hi, Bob. Dave Rooney here.
Dave.
You know, old Mr. Easy Touch.
Oh, the railroad conductors who loan money to the people who forgot their wallets, right?
Right, but I got a new job.
Oh, great, because that last
Well, the
job
thing is, I'm going to need another consolidation loan, Bob.
Fine, Dave.
I have all kinds of bills starting to pile up.
Well, a consolidation loan will turn them into one monthly payment.
Fantastic.
What's your new job, Dave? What's your new job?
I'm a collector on a toll gate, Bob.
Dave.
No,
You're not lending quarters.
Well,
dimes.
occasionally.
Nickel?
I got an IOU from every one of them, Bob.
I'll get to work on your consolidation loan, Dave.
Thanks, Bob. And if you ever drive through my toll gate without your wallet...
Thanks, Dave. And you can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
Well, fans, there are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. All General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. They also have one office in Mundelein. General Finance.
In the fourth inning, the Mets will send Flynn, who made that fine defensive play to close out the Cubs' third inning. And then the Boyd Clare and Steve Henderson. 2, 3, and 4 men in the Met lineup. Flynn, right-handed hitter. First pitch, strike called by Dennis Lamp. Lamp has allowed 1 hit, a bunt, And Swan has allowed one hit. Strike one pitch on its way. Swinging a tap off of the foot of Flynn, and it's a foul ball. So now the count goes to 0-2. Kingman in left, Gross in center, and the Mercer playing Flynn close to the foul line. Dennis Lamp has a sign from Reader. In the windup, the kick, the pitch. Swinging a high bounding ball down the third base line with a little foul. As Altaveras had no play whatsoever on Flynn. Hit that dirt in front of the plate and bounced about 15 or 20 feet high down that line. Cubs will be here at Wrigley Field against these Mets tomorrow and Sunday before taking to the road against Philadelphia Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, off day Thursday, and then in Atlanta Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Instead, Lamp started his windup and then stopped. He wants another sign. He gets it. 0-2 pitch on the way. Curveball just missing the outside corner. Ball one, strike two. Flynn's on it out to Kelleher. First time at bat. He checks his swing just in time. And the count now runs to 2-2. Altaveras moves back deeper at third. Flynn swings at the ground ball past Lamp on over second base in the center field for a base hit. That's the second hit off Lamp. And Flynn is really leading this ball club with that base hit. Started the game hitting .333. Now here's Fort Claret back. Left-handed hitter. No score, but the Mets have their leadoff hitter on in the fourth inning. There's one inside and low, ball one. Bill Necro lost his fourth game yesterday, last night, when Jones of San Diego, Randy Jones, pitched shutout baseball. Bill only gave up 2 hits, but got beat. Here's the 1-ball pitch now by Lamp. There's one over the outside corner for a called strike, and it's 1-1. Los Angeles has the whammy on Houston. Val beat Houston last night. Tonight will be Bannister against the road. 1 ball, 1 strike. Go to first. Flynn gets back safely. Bidner holding him on at first base. Now, Lamp is ready, goes into the stretch. Looks at the runner. Here's the pitch. Swinging a one-hopper to Jesus. He goes to trio for one. Or I should say Kelleher. And Kelleher throws the Bittner in time for a double play. That is number 8 for the Cubs. To Jesus, to Kelleher, to Bittner. Here's Henderson at bat. Lined out to Kelleher at second base. His first time at bat in the second inning. They're at the top of the fourth. Since Henderson had been hit by Russell's pitch in New York, he's been in quite a slump. He was red hot early in this season. He swings and misses. He's hitting now about 187. Steps out of that batter's box, takes a lot of time. Lamp looking in. Nobody on base. 2 out. Here's the strike one pitch. Inside sidearm fastball. 1-1 to count. No score, fourth inning. Swinging a tap foul that comes up and hits Henderson right in the batter's box. He's a fine, young-looking ball player. He can do everything. He's got the stock. He can run. Good arm. And even though he dropped the ball in left field, costing the Mets, which aided the Cubs to win one of those two games in New York, he's a good fielder. Next pitch is fouled into the Cubs dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Nobody on base. Lamp is ready. Dennis goes into that windup. Here's the pitch. Curveball, just missing the corner inside. 2-2. Lamp, after he released that ball quickly, went to his hands on his knees, thinking that ball had a chance of being called strike 3. He's yet to strike out a man. The pitch, tap foul right at the plate once again. Ball 2, strike 2. Compared to the Cubs' 8 double plays, the Mets have 16. Mets have made 10 errors, while the Cubs have only made 8. 2-2 pitch. He gets them. He takes that pitch over the outside corner for a called 3rd strike. Lamp's first strikeout of this ball game. So in the 4th inning, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. The hit was erased for the double play. So with the Cubs coming to bat in the 4th inning, Cubs nothing, and the New York Mets nothing. In the 4th inning, it'll be Mercer, Kingman, and Ontiveros. Mercer walked to open up the 2nd inning, but he was stranded when Kingman grounded out. Ontiveros flied out to the center fielder, and Rader flied out to the left fielder. Tomorrow, it'll be Jerry Koosman against Rick Russell. That should be a corker tomorrow. So why don't you make plans to come on out? Watch these two ball clubs tango. Tango, that was. It wasn't tango. That's tango. One is ready. First pitch on its way. High, ball 1. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Here's a swing on a fastball. It hit Mercer right on the fist, and he just sends a little looper to Foley at short. 1 out. Bobby didn't even have time enough to drop the bat. He's still holding it up as he carries it back to the dugout. Now here's Kingman at bat. He was handcuffed with one of Swan's fastballs as he grounded out to Randall first time at bat. Curveball high. Ball 1. That's the first let-up that Swan has thrown. No score, 4th inning. Pitching duel between Swan and Dennis Lamb. Swing and a foul onto the net by Kingman. 1-1 to count. Swinging a fly ball to short right field. Flynn going out at second base, calling for it. He's under it, and he has it. 2 out. Certainly want to thank George McNamara, and John Stiles, and Mr. Bry, and all the folks at Quad City Downs last night. Their hospitality was just tremendous. We had a fine time. Also, the sister TV station, Channel 8, who carries the Cubs ball games, as we had a little interview and spent a little time with those gentlemen. Here's a curveball thrown to Ontiveros, and he takes it. Now the count is 0-2. Swan getting 2 curveballs to Ontiveros over the plate. Next pitch knocks him back away from the plate. A good high, hard fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch is high. 2-2 to count. Well, we certainly want to wish Audrey Harris recuperating in the St. Mary's Hospital to get the blood. Next pitch is a strike 3 called. Don Tavares. So he's called out on strike as Swan gave an indication of some fine pitching to Steve. And for Swan, that's his third strikeout of this ball game. Cubs go down 1-2-3, no runs, no hits. Nobody left on base in the 4th inning. So we move to the 5th inning of play. There's no score.
In the 5th inning, Willie Martinez is to lead off. He'll be followed by Lee Metzelli and Johnny Stearns. Vince Floyd back here with you at Wrigley Field. In a scoreless ball game, the Cubs with 1 base hit so far. And the Mets with a pair off Dennis Lamp. The rookie. You know, the Cubs have a really interesting crop of potential plus youngsters throughout the organization. From their rookie camp down in Florida right up through the top farm organization, the AAA club at Wichita. And, of course, good ones like Dennis Lamp right up here with the Maine club. You might want to read about a lot of these kids. Take a look at the farm system of the Cubs. You can find out all about it in the new spring roster book. 72 pages thick. Much bigger than last year's. And it's jam-packed with just every kind of information imaginable. First pitch, and Martinez looks at a strike away from him. You can get the roster book right here at the ballpark tomorrow or Sunday, or you can send for it. Tell you how in a moment, the windup. There's a swing and a well-hit drive. Right field. Way back. Mercer, way back. He leaps. He can't get it. It turns off the wall. Picked up and dropped by Greg Gross. Now he retrieves it, gets it in, and it's a double for Martinez. Just missed going into the basket in right field. Bobby back against the vines, leaped as high as he could. Dennis's fastball just about let her high and right out over the plate. And Martinez got all of it. Mercer went about 3 feet up in the air in a desperate attempt to get a glove on that ball, but it was high off the bricks over his glove. So they've got themselves a runner in scoring position. With nobody out, Lee Metzelli, who reached in the 2nd inning on a bunt single with the bases empty, 2 gone, steps in, left-hander. He'll be trying to get Martinez over to 3rd, of course. Lamp in a bit of a jam in this scoreless game. Fastball swung out, a bouncing ball to Olivares at 3rd. Guerrero will have to hold at 2nd. Here's the peg, and Metzelli is out by a step, 1 away. So Metzelli unable to get the job done. That'll bring up the catcher, Johnny Stearns. Ended the 2nd inning flying out to Kingman. To send for the roster book, just send $1 to roster book, Wrigley Field, Chicago, 60613, and add 25 cents per order for postage and handling. Lamp at the stretch. Stearns takes the ball, a little low. If you order 3 roster books, then $3, plus 25 cents to cover the postage and handling on the order. Stretch by Dennis. Martinez with a good lead at 2nd. The delivery outside this time, 2-0. Trying to keep it down around the knees, but he's missed inside and outside to Stearns. So far, Dennis has not walked anybody. 2-0 pitch. Just barely missed the inside corner at the belt. 3-0. Got a good fastball. Tim Foley due up next, and then the pitcher. Bottom part of the order. Runner at 2nd, 3-0 delivery. Stearns takes a fastball inside for ball 4. Now they have runners at 1st and 2nd. With 1 away. And Foley, the shortstop, who grounded out to DeJesus, opening up the 3rd, steps into the batter's box, a right-handed hitter. First pass of the day, issued by Dennis. Foley was one of the guys who doubled against him in that 4th inning at Shea Stadium when they got their only 2 runs off of him. Fastball. Whipped in for a strike call, then he had a good fastball. New York runners at 1st and 2nd with 1 away in the top of the 5th. The delivery swung on. He fouls one down the right field side. It's going to be out of play. 0-2 on Foley. From the Mets to Montreal, and now back to the Mets. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on, he slaps a ground ball on the burst to his left, can't get it. Jesus does, goes to second, and they get the fourth play barely. Boy, that was close at second on Johnny Stearns. Couldn't believe the call for a moment. There are 2 gone, and the pitcher Craig Swan will be the batter with New York runners now at first and third. No score yet. Jesus ranging wide to his right for that one. And got rid of that ball in a hurry to Kelleher. And this was a close call on Johnny Stearns for the fourth play. He's the Mets might do. Swan, but 6'3", 215. Uniform numbers, he's aged 27. There's a swing and a hard one-hopper to Olivares. He was at both knees when he got it. Toss was going over to Bittner, and that retires the side. A leadoff double by the Mets in the 5th inning, but they do not get on the scoreboard. 1 hit, a walk, and 2 men left on. The Cubs come to bat against Swan. It'll be the bottom third of the Cubs batting order, and it is still 0-0.
Good morning. I'd like to try the breakfast with the hash browns, please.
Oh, McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash browns breakfast with an English muffin.
What's the name of it?
We don't have a name.
You need Punchy here. You need name Punchy quick.
Oh, you mean like Egg McMuffin?
Greg Berthostum.
McCain sauce hash brown.
Next gram.
And steak.
No.
The post sauce.
The toast muffin.
McMuffin.
Oh, no.
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast.
So you do want that?
I'll have that.
You got it.
Scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast.
True Test outdoor extension cords from True Value hardware stores aren't just fair weather friends. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you they're designed for year-round use in all kinds of weather. True Test heavy-duty 3-wire cords supply power to electric mowers, trimmers, and other outdoor tools. They resist weather, oil, grease, and most chemicals. And the bright orange cord comes in a 30-foot size for $3.99 and a 60-foot length for only $7.88. Exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
Dave Rader is going to be leading off. He ended the 2nd inning by flying out to the left fielder. Monday night, an unusual starting time in the Cup game at Philadelphia, the first of the 3-game series. It's going to be a later time than usual, and for our network stations, take heed. You'll be joining us and maybe getting Bob Collins playing some music or giving you some silly talk on the air. Give it to you in a moment. First pitch. Rader takes a fastball, high and tight for ball 1. Our network airtime Monday night will be 7:35. 1-0 delivery. Swung on, a well-hit drive, right field, but it should be caught by Beauclair. He is there. Reaches up and hauls it in. 1 away. That brings up Nick Kelleher, who got on with a walk to lead off the 3rd inning. Our airtime in Chicago Monday night. We'll be on to talk a little baseball with you prior to the first game of the season between the Cubs and the Phillies. That's going to be 7:20. Tuesday and Wednesday night games will be on at the usual starting hour for Philadelphia. 6:30 in the network and 6:15 on WGN. Here's a swing by Beck and a pop-up. Second baseman, Gus Flynn, coming over, grabs the ball about 10 feet inside the first base foul line. 2 gone in a hurry here in the 5th inning. Bases are empty for Dennis Lamp. The Cubs with 1 hit, a single off the bat of Greg Gross in the 3rd inning. And so far this year, they have faced Swan unsuccessfully, insofar as runs are concerned, in 13 and 2/3 innings. Get out on a 5-hitter by the big right-hander in Shea Stadium. And blank here through 4 and 2/3 innings this afternoon. Wind up the first pitch. Dennis takes it high and tight. Ball 1 to the right-handed hitter. Tomorrow and Sunday afternoon will be right here against the Mets. He takes another ball, missing inside, and this time between the belt and the knees. He wants to know if he can take a whack at this one. Sit out for a moment, looking down at Coach Malpatano, now he's in there. 2-0 to pitch. He takes there. It's a strike call, the letter high fastball. 2-1 on Dennis. Struck out in the third. 2-1 delivery. Swung out. He got a piece of that one. Bounced it foul. Back out of play. No score. Dennis has done a fine job in the hill himself. Swan's next pitch. He swings and misses for strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball. That's the 4th strikeout of the day by Craig Swan. And the Cubs' bottom third of the batting order is retired in order. At the end of 5 innings of play at Wrigley Field, it'll be the top of the New York Mets batting order against Dennis, and the score remains 0-0. Right now is the time to test drive a 78 Cutlass. Why? Because right now, with over 4,000 available in Chicagoland, you can choose the color and options you want with immediate delivery at your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer. When you test drive the 78 Cutlass, you'll discover how the new trimmer size makes for smooth riding, easier handling, and inside feel the comfort and joy of the space, because there's more headroom and legroom than ever. Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Test drive the 78 Cutlass, or you'll discover what a real pleasure it is. This is really an even-Steven affair. Through the first 5 innings, both teams have batted around twice. Martinez led off the 5th inning with a double. That's when they had their best threat. He got as far as third. Mazzilli, the next hitter, grounded out to Olivares at third. Martinez had to hold at second base. And Johnny Stearns walked on 4 pitches. But he was forced at second on Tim Foley's ground ball to the shortstop. Very close play. Then Swan, the pitcher, grounded out to Olivares to retire the side. Martinez, who had opened with that double, was left stranded at third. Now Lenny Randall, a little left-hander, takes in. It's a strike. He tried to reach with a bunt leading off the ball game, and he was thrown out by Dennis Lamp. In the third, he grounded out to DeJesus at short. Wind up and the pitch. Fastball. And he takes it high and away. Ball 1, strike 1. Special school groups out here this afternoon. They're bundled up in deference to the chill wind that's blowing. After seeing a tight ball game. 1-1 delivery. Swung on, and he hits one down the left field foul line. Kingman coming over, but that's going to be way back out of play. Maine South Township High School up in Park Ridge. Here today, group of 45 in the St. George School 8th grade class from Tinley Park is here, 38 strong. 1-2 pitch. Randall goes after that one, bounces it foul. Dribbles over near the New York Mets dugout. Twice they've had the leadoff hitter in an inning reach. Flynn with a single in the 4th, rubbed out on Beauclair's double play ball. Hooks the bat out there like he had a notion to butt. And it's a little low, ball 2, strike 2. And then Martinez double leading off the 5th. Lamp has done a superb job. 2-2 delivery. Randall goes after it. Tops one out to the mound. Lamp has it easily. Here's the peg to Bittner. And Lenny Randall is out of there. And a tap just to the third base side of the pitcher's mound. Doug Flynn, 1 for 2 today, steps in. Tomorrow, Rick Russell for the Cubs against the veteran Jerry Koosman, the left-hander for the Mets. Rematch between those two, just as we have here today, between Lamp and Swan. The first pitch, Flynn, right-hander, looks at the ball a little bit low. Got him out of the Cincinnati Reds organization last year in the Seaver deal. They needed help at second. 1-0 pitch. Swung out, a line drive, base hit. Just barely out of the reach of Kelleher, who went towards second. Got the glove up high as he could. But Flynn has his second Line single of the day. With no score, Beauclair stepping in. 25-year-old left-hander. Grounded into a double play in the fourth, the 8th twin killing by the Cubs this year. Matching the number by their opponents this season. Lamp from the stretch. Runner goes, and the hit run, a swing, and a deep drive down the right field line. Bobby Mercer's over quickly. He makes the catch. Had trouble with the sun. He almost lost it at the last moment. But he made the catch. And Flynn getting back to first base in a hurry. So they had the hit and run on. And he hit it well. That bright sun out there today, that right field can be a very, very tough position. The batter in Mercer, they ducked away from that bright sun at the last moment, made the two-handed catch at the shoulder. And now Steve Henderson steps in, taking a lot of time, as usual. Now he plants himself in there, says he's all set to go, bends the knees, bends from the waist, a good hitter. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Went right over. And again, he gets way out of the batter's box, onto the grass. Looks down to Del Maxville, coaching at third. Now bends down, readjusts the glove. Finally says, well, I guess just a bit of get back in there. Plants the right foot. Hasn't brought the left one in yet. Now he does. He can give a pitcher fits. Now the stretch, the pitch. Takes it a little low, we thought, but it's in there for a strike called, and Henderson not happy with that call. He gets out of the batter's box again. Finally turns around, shaking his head at young Mr. Crawford, the plate umpire. Started to get in. Now he steps back out again. It's okay, I guess I'm ready to go. Has his hands well out over the plate. 0-2 delivery. Runner goes, he swings, and he hits a fly ball to Mercer in right field. He's there in perfect position and makes the catch shoulder high on the right side, and that retires the New York Mets in the 6th inning. On the 0-2 pitch, they had Flynn going, and Henderson swinging. No runs from the bat in the bottom of inning number 6, and like the Mets, they'll have the top of the batting order up. There's still no score.
My car engine knocks so bad it sounds like a riveting gun. Every time I accelerated, the thing infuriated me. I'm a standard dealer, and we're talking about the knocking or pinging sound that car's engine sometimes makes when accelerating or pulling a heavy load. Some car owners actually want to retard the spark to keep the engine from knocking. What that does is waste gasoline. We'll get the car back in tune, and Amoco Premium Lead-Free is made to stop engine knocks. But still knocks, or keeps running after you turn off the key.
Ivan DeJesus so far today has struck out. And he forced Mick Kelleher at second with his ground ball in the third. So the young shortstop the Cubs 0 for 2. You've seen those all-star ballots yet. You'll notice Ivan's name on there along with several others of the Cubs. Cast your ballots for him for the all-star game. He looks at the first pitch high. Ball 1. Where's Don Ketchinger's old number 11? Where's it well? There's a swing, and he's got himself a base hit. Through the hole to the left side of the infield, makes the turn and holds with a single. Now, let's see if the Cubs can get something going. Mercer led off the second inning with a walk. Got as far as second on Dave Kingman's ground out. That's as far as he could travel. And now, in the 6th inning, DeJesus opens up with a single. And Greg Gross, the hitter, singled in the third, is popped up. He's 1 for 2 today. First pitch, pushes the bunt of the third base line. Randall charging in, has no play at second, throws to first base in time to Willie Martinez. A sacrifice and a good one by Greg Gross to get DeJesus into scoring position in this scoreless ball game. Forced Randall to come up in a hurry. Now, the number 3 hitter in the Cub batting order, Larry Bittner, so far has been shut out. Of course, close. When second baseman Dutch Flynn made a very fine stop on Bittner's ground ball in the third. Put the ball to the shortstop for the fourth play. In the first inning, he grounded out. Martinez to the pitcher. So Larry looking for his first hit of the day, and a base hit here could get the Cubs on the board. Jesus, excellent speed. The runner at second with one away. Pick off attempt to second. Look out! Boy, barely in there in time. Excellent move by Swan. Great timing by the Mets on that pick-off attempt at second base. Barely got in there with a bare hand, just in front of the tag. Glenn rolled over in the dust out there, trying to make that tag. That would have been most embarrassing. Larry with 5 runs, batted in for the year. The pitch swung on in a high fly ball down the left field foul line. Steve Henderson coming over, across the line. He's there and he grabbed it right on top of the bullpen mound in front of the Cub bullpen crew. So they're 2 gone, and now it's up to Bobby Mercer. He has walked, popped up to the shortstop. Cubs now gone 14 in 2/3 innings without a run this year against Craig Swan. Now for that. They're going to put him on intentionally to put runners at first and second, and to face the right-hander hitting Dave Kingman, and the crowd is booing after the first deliberate pitch way outside. Strategy is sound. While they're giving this intentional walk, Bill Song says, grab your coat and get your hat and leave your worries on the doorstep. And come on out here to Wrigley Field tomorrow when our Cubs play the New York Mets. So easy to get here. The Clark and the Addison buses take you to the main gate, and the L subway lets you off at Addison. Short hop slide in the ballpark. Then over Wrigley Field. Good place to be tomorrow and Sunday. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. All right, Dave. He's 0 for 2 today against Swan. Runners at first and second, bottom of the 6th, no score, 2 out. First pitch. Gets the swing. Pitch was low and away. Says Crawford, and Kingman held up in time. They asked for the appeal, denied by Doug Harvey, the first base umpire. They're playing in the full. Henderson beats in left field. McKelly well over into left center. Second baseman Flynn almost behind second base. Shortstop Foley deep in the hole. Here's the pitch. Takes it high. Ball 2. Fastball. 2-0 on Dave, and the big right-hander gets out of the batter's box for a moment. He wears Sando's old number, 10. Swan behind him. Mets with 4 hits, the Cubs with 2, and neither team yet on the scoreboard. Here's the stretch, the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. And what a vicious cut he took, and he was a little late going after it. Looked like the ball was in stern fit by the time Dave pulled the trigger. Heading coach Lou Fonseca sitting right behind home plate, bundled up warmly, watching one of his proteges here, Dave. 2-1 delivery on its way, and he takes ball 3 and too close. Let's pause a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Swan has turned his back to the plate. Dave had stepped out of the batter's box a moment. Swan in a bit of a jam, and he knows it, concentrating deeply now on what he wants to do on this very important pitch. 2 out, 2 on, ball 3, strike 1. He's in the stretch. He delivers. A swing and a miss, and he was fooled badly by a breaking ball, low and away. And again, he just couldn't quite make up his mind whether to go after it or not. Had he laid off, I think that would have been a walk to load up the bases. Vince Lloyd here with you at Wrigley Field in a 0-0 ball game. Count is full. The runners will be on the move at first and second. Here it comes. He swings. Deep high drive. Left field. Way back. Way back. It is leaping catch. And no signal yet. Leaping attempt by the left fielder, Steve Henderson. Third base umpire Jimmy Quick went out, did not bring the arms up, and the bleacher fans are standing, whooping and hollering. Dave Kingman's first Wrigley Field home run of 1978 makes the score. The Chicago Cubs 3 and the New York Mets nothing. Bob Kennedy paid him a bundle of money. Here's a swing by Steve Oliveris. He looks for just inside the third base line. He's going to be on. He's taking for second, and he's in there with a stand-up double. A little blooper just inside the left field foul line. Did not think that Steve Henderson had been able to catch that ball off the bat of Kingman. He went under the basket, leaped as high as he could. And the ball barely made it into the basket that projects out away from that brick wall. I wanted to be sure before I made the call, and I kept my eye riveted then on Jim Quick, the third base umpire, had gone out there, but he made no indication that it was a home run. Maybe he hadn't been quite positive. But a bell ringer it was. Dave's second of the year and his first one at Wrigley Field. He now has 5 runs batted in for the year. Oliveris at second base. Later, the batter is going to be put on intentionally when they walk Bobby Mercer in front of Dave Kingman. That backfired. Is going to be the batter following the intentional walk here today of Rader to put runners at first and second. Kingman had been fooled on the 3-1 pitch, a curveball that was low and away, and he knew it. Then on 3-2, Swan tried to get one by him, and he just missed getting out of the inning, but it went under the basket for a 3-run homer. First pitch to Kelleher, and it's a ball. Swan into the stretch, delivers. In too close. 2-0. The runs here in the 6th inning are the first earned runs against Craig Swan this year in 21 2/3 innings. Fastball swung on and fouled back up onto the screen. Ball 2, strike 1. And it's ironic that his teammate of a year ago at this time, Dave Kingman, should be the man who would put those runs on the board against him. On a full count. 2-1 pitch. Too high. 3-1. I think that homer shipped Mr. Swan up considerably. Ball 3, strike 1 on Kelleher. With runners at first and second, still 2 out. There's a swing and a base hit back up the middle. Here comes Oliveris around third. Center fielder, the Billy, making the throw towards third, off target, and no play at second base. The Cubs lead 4-0. As Kelleher, following the intentional walk to Rader, singles on the 3-1 pitch, driving in his first run of the season. Dennis Lamp, the 9th Cub to come to the plate in the 6th inning. Takes off that heavy jacket, protecting him from the chill out here today. The bat from the bat boy, and he steps into the batter's box, leading in the ball game 4-0. Well, we waited. Expectantly for Kingman to get that first home run. I mentioned earlier today it was going to take some shot to get the ball out of here into center or left center field with that wind blowing in officially at 12 miles per hour. But Kingman, even though he can get it high in the air, can get enough power, as he has shown here in the sixth inning today, even under these adverse conditions, to get it out of here. It barely made it into the basket, but that's all you need. Lance steps in and he fouls the first pitch, high up against the backstop. Strike one count on Dennis with the Cubs leading in the ball game, 4-0. Runners at second and third to wind up the delivery. He takes the ball outside, 1-1. 1-1 delivery. Half swing, and he fouls it back out of play. I mentioned those earned runs to first given up by Swan this year in competition that counts. 0-1-2 pitch, little high, 2-2. And he had finished so strong in spring training that 20-some very strong innings in the last 15 of them, he had not allowed a run down there in Florida. There's a strike called, and Dennis Lamp looking at strike three. And the Cubs are finally retired in the sixth inning. That is strikeout number 5 for Dennis Lamp. But in between the leadoff single by DeJesus and that strikeout, 4 Cubs come across the plate, 3 of them on Dave Kingman's first home run of the season at Wrigley Field. 4 hits in the inning, and 2 men left in the bases. So at the end of 6, the Cubs lead the New York Mets 4-0.
General Finance friendly Bob Adams. Pete Scalero here, Bob. Hi, Pete. Bob, how many times did you want half of a ham sandwich but were too busy to fold the ham? What, Pete? Bob, say hello to the inventor of the lunch and meat folder. You mean a folder that folds the ham in half? Not just ham, corned beef, bologna, pastrami. Sounds terrific. You know, Bob, the darn thing even works on mayonnaise. It folds mayonnaise. As soon as I work out one wrinkle, it's all set. Great. What's the wrinkle? In the meantime, I've got a lot of personal bills piling up. Well, a consolidation loan can turn those bills into one monthly payment, Pete. Oh, there you go. What's the one wrinkle? And, Bob, do you like tomatoes on your sandwich? Love them. Well, that's the wrinkle. Oh, yeah? Mushes them right up. Well, I think people can fold their own tomatoes. You think so? Of course. Oh, thanks, Bob. You can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
You know, there are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. You can call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. And they also have an office out in Naperville, General Finance. They shut out these Mets on 4 hits through the first 6 innings. And he could pick up his first win in this, his 3rd start of the season. The kids at Mom and Dad have been promising to take you out here to Wrigley Field. Tell them you want to come out on Saturday, May the 6th, or Sunday, May the 7th. That's jacket giveaway weekend. Which means you'll not only get to see the Cubs play the San Francisco Giants, but you'll get a free baseball jacket, too. The jacket comes in blue 12-gauge vinyl with a Cubs emblem on the front, very similar to the one worn by the players on their uniforms. Tell you how to qualify for it. The moment here's the windup in the first pitch to Montanez. The left-hander takes ball 1 too low. You must be among the first 15,000 youngsters with fully paid admission. Bleacher tickets not included. 1-0 delivery. Montanez looks at ball 2 too low. 2, you have to be 13 or under. Saturday and Sunday, May 6th to 7th at Wrigley Field, jacket giveaway weekend. Message furnished by the Cubs. Fastball by Dennis, and he misses outside. He's in the hole, 3-0 on Montanez. Montanez led off the 5th with a double, got as far as 3rd. 3-0 pitch. It's a strike. All 3, strike 1. Montanez used to be with the Giants, then with Atlanta. 3-1 pitch. And that misses just outside. Montanez leads off the 7th inning with a walk. The second one issued by Dennis. And that brings up Lee Mazzilli. Butt single in the second inning with the bases empty and 2 out. Grounded out to Olivares after Montanez doubled in the 5th inning. And Montanez had to stay at second base. a switch hitter. The stretch by Lamp. Here's the pitch. Hot the outside corner. Strike one. Kelly wears glasses. Very popular in New York. He comes from there. 25 years of age. 0-1 pitch. Curve that's a little low. Ball one, strike one. Montreal and the Phillies had to call their game off up in Montreal this afternoon, and they immediately announced we'll play 2 tomorrow. Stretch the 1-1 pitch. Swung out, a ground ball. Keller is coming in. He's got to go to second. Gets to fourth play. No chance for a double play on that one. DeJesus throw much too late. But they force Montanez, and Mazzilli is on with one away in the top of the 7th inning, and that'll bring up Johnny Stearns, the catcher. Just how long Manny Trio will be out of action, we're not sure. Let's see the doctor today. We're told that Trio has developed some tonsillitis. Stearns, a right-hander. He swings the first pitch. Ground ball. Oliveira cuts in. He goes to second. Kelleher's relay. Up in a little bit. Bittner made the pickup. Not in time for a double play that time. But they force Mazzilli at second base for out number 2. That'll bring up the 8th man in the New York Mets batting order today, veteran Tim Foley. Let me tell you, he really got taken out on that block thrown in there by Mazzilli going in. He gets the butt on the third base side of the mound, picked up by Lamp. Here's the fake, and he's got him. Tim Foley trying to reach with a bunt single, got it too near the mound. And the Mets in the 7th inning, a leadoff walk, but no runs and no hits. One man left on. And Dennis Lamp, going after his first win of the year, has shut out the New York Mets. We move into the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Cubs are leading the Mets 4-0.
True Value hardware stores offer a fishing gear value that's quite a catch in itself. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you that right now they're offering the popular Zebco 33 spin cast reel with a 6-foot fiberglass rod, an anniversary special at just $18.88. The Zebco 33 is a traditional favorite with fishermen because of its smooth, dependable action, so it'll bring you years of enjoyable fishing. Get the Zebco 33 combination rod and reel at participating True Value hardware stores.
What is it?
The hash brown pan, hash brown.
Some people don't know McDonald's hash brown when they see it.
They are funny looking.
But they're delicious.
Well, I didn't ask delicious. I figured delicious. This is McDonald's. So I'll have some.
They're ready to smile.
McDonald's hash browns, crisp and golden on the outside, tender on the inside.
It's like a real famous fry.
But still funny looking.
But they need breakfast.
Joe Torrey is going to left-hander Paul Siebert. As the Cubs go to the top of their batting order for the second successive inning. Swan, they were shut out the Cubs in New York going the distance. Had not allowed an earned run in this season until Kingman's 3-run shot barely into the basket in left field. It came with 2 on, 2 up on a full count of 3-2. Swan is out of there. Despite the fact that it's cold out here at the ballpark today, the crowd, not a big one, enjoying the action. So many of them, of course, have waited and waited to see Dave Kingman get his first Wrigley Field homer. They're gratified with what they saw off the bat of the big fella when he broke up the scoreless tie. Siebert, a veteran, this year has only been in one game and worked an inning and a third. That's all. 2 hits, no runs off of it. Left-hander delivers, and Ivan takes it a little high for ball 1. Cubs will be looking at veteran left-hander Jerry Koosman at the outset of tomorrow's game. Fastball misses low and inside. 2-0. Yvonne led off the sixth inning. The ground ball base hit through the left side. 2-0 delivery. Fastball is in. Ball 2, strike 1. And he and Bobby Mercer, who had been walked intentionally, came in on Kingman's basket homer. 2-1 pitch. Hopped up. Second baseman, Flynn, shading his eyes from the bright sun is on the dirt. And he makes the two-handed catch hit high. One gone in the seventh inning, and that'll bring up Greg Gross, who sacrificed to Jesus, the second base in that sixth. Greg singled in the third. So officially, this left-handed hitter is 1 for 2 today. Siebert in the windup. Fastball delivers the fastball a little bit too high. Greg very deep in the batter's box against him. Stands slightly close. The windup. There's one that's low and inside. 2-0. Rick Russell scheduled to go for the Cubs tomorrow, and Ray Burris is the probable pitcher Sunday to close out the homestand. There's a fastball taken for a strike. 2-1. Siebert working quickly. Swing and a little pop-up down the third base foul line. It is going to be out of play into the box seats. Ball 2, strike 2. Larry Bittner in the on-deck circle. But Henderson, Ken Henderson that is ready to play again. Going to have a little bit of an excess of outfielders. The Mets may be ready for a deal. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. There's a drive into left center field, caught by Lee Mazzilli. Liner off the bat of Gross. Bases empty two-way, and Larry Bittner, 0 for 3 so far, steps in. Siebert will be 25 late in June this year, early part of June this year. Left-hander delivers. This is very high with a curve, ball 1. They got him on June 15th from San Diego when they sent Dave Kingman to the Padres right at the deadline that night. Got Siebert and Bobby Valentine. Jim southpaw is ready. Fastball, little high. 2-0. And the Mets opt into Tidewater, their top farm club. And he misses low and away, ball 3. Go with the bases empty. And 2 gone, the Cubs leading here in the 7th inning, 4-0. Siebert ready with the trio delivery to Bittner. And he looks at ball 4, too low. Keeps the inning alive and brings up Bobby Mercer. Walked twice, once intentionally. And he, along with the Jesus, came across on Kingman's first home run in his career in a Cub uniform at this ballpark. So, how many is it here against us, huh? Southpaw looks at first, comes to the plate. Mercer has to back away, ball 1. Bobby has only been up once officially today. Failed to reach. Kicks the pitch. Cuts his swing and dips too low. 2-0. Bittner being held down by Montanez at first. A short lead for Larry at first base. Siebert looks, delivers. Mercer takes. Strike over the outside corner. 2-1 on him. Well, the Cubs had the same number of hits off Swan today that they had in New York. They got on the board against him today. There's a swing, and he pulls that pitch foul on the first baseline. And at Shea Stadium, of course, he went the distance. Shut the Cubs out on a 5-hitter. And he was almost out of the jam in the 6th. first and a 2-2 delivery. Swung on. Mercer gets under it. Bobby fouls it. Back up out of play. Still 2-2. Kingman got quite a hand as he trotted out to his position in left field after that sixth inning and his 3-run homer. 2-2 pitch. Swung out. He fouls the fastball. It's kind. Back up out of the net. Remind you again, and particularly on our network, that Monday night, your schedule is wrong. We will not be on the air from Philadelphia Monday night until 7:35 Chicago time. Here's the swing and a base hit for Mercer. Gets it on the dirt, down to the reach of Flynn. That will send Bittner to third, and it brings up Dave Kingman, who's going to get quite a hand, I'm sure. First two batters retired in this inning. Going to walk to Bittner and a single by Mercer. With 2 outs, same situation as we had in the 6th inning when Dave, on a 3-2 pitch, got one up in the air to left field and barely into the basket. Out of the reach of Steve Henderson. And Joe Torre with a big turkey towel around his neck, crossing the first base foul line. Looks like he wants to make a move right here, Leroy. Yeah. And a double one. So we have a pitching change coming up here at Wrigley Field. A right-hander coming in to face Kingman with Cub runners at first and third. Cubs with a 4-0 lead, 2 out of the bottom of the 7th. Let's take a moment for this stretching.
Back in 1880, the town of Findlay, Ohio became a boom town almost overnight. Vast natural gas fields were discovered and people flocked to Findlay. Today, Findlay is still a thriving town. It's the home of the Cooper Tire Company, one of the finest tire makers in the world. A Cooper tire is known as the tire with 2 names, the company and the man who builds it. People like Jerry Greer and Tom Clymer put their names right on the Cooper tires that they build. It's an extra measure of pride in their work. And you can sense that pride when you visit a Cooper tire dealer. He's proud that he can give you a quality Cooper tire at less than a top price. And he's proud to be associated with a fast-growing company like Cooper. Cooper, the tire with 2 names, the company and the man who builds it. The Century Tire and Supply, 3630 West 59th Street, Chicago, Illinois.
The pitcher due to lead off in the 8th inning for the Mets, Joe Torre, making an infield change, sending the second baseman Doug Flynn over to shortstop, taking Foley out of the lineup, and putting Valentine, who will bat in the 9th spot of the batting order, putting Bobby at second base, and Butch Metzger, who last year, at the early part of the season, was a property of the San Diego Padres, the same as Valentine. Metzger coming in to be the new pitcher. He started the season with San Diego, went to the Cardinals, now with the Mets. Dave Kingman, who started the year with the Mets and went to San Diego, and now with the Cubs, is going to be facing him. At first and third. Right-hander on the hill. There's a bunt on the third base side. Fletcher racing out. Picks it up, and he has no play anywhere. Dave Kingman, who got a run in the other day against Montreal with a perfect bunt single, loads him up here with another beauty. How do you play a guy? Either hit him out of the park or bunts one on you, huh?
Are we saying that to me? You're asking yourself a lot of questions and answers.
I do. How do you play it?
Well, personally, I didn't like it.
Dr. Steve tried to hit one out.
Sure, he's in there for RBIs. He's really...
It was foul. Now he's going to...
That's right. One. It was not a squeeze as the runner remained at third base. He's up there to hit. I don't care if he strikes out 400 times. I want to see him swing that bat.
He had it legged out, but they let it trickle, and it finally went foul on it. There's the swing, and he gets under that one. Hits it high and deep down the left field line, chasing it over there, and unable to get to it as it goes into the box. He's foul. Steve Henderson went all the way down to the corner at that door leading into the Cubs clubhouse under the left field box seat. So the count on him 0-2 with runners at first and third. Oliveris due up next. After Kingman's homer in the sixth inning, Steve doubled, and he came in on Kelleher's signal. There's a swing and a miss, and he fans to retire the side. No runs, a walk, a single. The Cubs lead 2-on, and at the end of 7 at Wrigley Field. Cubs 4 and the New York Mets nothing.
You know, any knowledgeable baseball man will tell you that a good switch hitter is a pretty valuable guy to have in the lineup, whether the pitching is right-handed or left-handed. You know, there's one guy on your team who's equal to the occasion. Of course, you could say much the same thing about old-style beer. Some beers are fine for when you're hot and dry, and you just want to quench a thirst. But once you've satisfied that thirst, you find the flavor just isn't there. Now, that's where old style goes both ways. Great when you're hot and thirsty, just as great when you simply have a taste for beer. That's because old style is brewed the old world way in a pure brewing, double brewing process called cloisonning. So, brew a beer once, and you've got a good beer. Brew a beer twice, and you've got a great light beer. Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully cloisoned, naturally carbonated in the old world way. So try Old Style. Beer brewed in God's country.
Bobby Valentine, a veteran, handsome young fellow, right-hander, started out his career with the Los Angeles Dodgers and looked like it was going to be an absolutely brilliant one, but he had a broken leg, and a badly broken one, and he's never been the same since. Been a bat twice for the Mets in this season with one hit. There's number 1. Dennis Lamp working at a shutout. Winds, first pitch. Valentine swings and a hot smash into the glove of Oliveris. Gets to his feet, throws. Little low to Bittner, but he grabs it. And there's one away on one pitch. He hit a hard one-hop shot. Lenny Randall. 3 groundouts today. Be the hitter. To reach with a buck to open up the ball game and was thrown out by Dennis. He got it to third base side of the mound, but a little bit too near the mound. Dennis not be able to have it. Right-hander is ready. Randall takes. First pitch is a strike. Good fastball. They have 4 hits. Wind up. The bat out there and pulled it back, and that one's a little high and away to the left-hander. Ball 1, strike 1 on Lenny. Excellent speed. The Cubs with a half a dozen hits, including Kingman. Basket homer with 2 men on. Sidearm fastball outside, 2-1. Saturday and Sunday games at Wrigley Field start 15 minutes earlier than the weekday games. That will hold true, of course, tomorrow. There's a ball inside. Ball 3, strike 1. And all doubleheaders, as usual, start promptly at noon. 3-1 pitch. Randall takes the strike. Fastball, 3-2 on him. Lenny levels the bat. Here's the windup. 3-2 pitch. Outside. Ball 4. Third walk of the day issued by Lamp. And with 1 out. Doug Flynn, now playing at shortstop, steps in. After bouncing out with McKellar in the first inning, Flynn has a pair of singles. A right-hander choking up in the bat a couple of inches. He looks at a strike. The pause here for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Dennis ready, delivers. Strike call. The fastball belt high, inside corner. To Flynn.
Well, I know that Kingman's home run will highlight this game, but to me, the kid out there in the mound is a highlight in itself. And if he continues to pitch as he's doing today, he's going to help this ball club tremendously.
He sure will, though. He delivers a little bit inside. Ball one, strike two. Could have had a victory against these guys over there, but just couldn't score at all in that ball game. It strikes the 1-2 pitch. Checks his swing, and the ball breaking a little bit too low, and apparently Flynn held up in time. Ball two, strike two. This bright, sunshiny day, with a cold wind coming in out of the north from the lake. We now have dark shadows at home plate and down the left field foul line. 2-2 delivery. Swung on. One hopper. Back to left. Wheels goes to DeJesus. Picks the ball out. Finally he throws and pulls Bittner off the bag. Should have had the double play. But Ivan, after taking the throw from Dennis, had trouble taking the ball out of his glove.
Dennis is a tough man to receive that play, that pitch from. It was like a pitch because he throws sidearm. And a shortstop that's in movement over that bag is very difficult to catch that ball and to get it out of the pocket. Actually, he didn't catch the ball in the pocket. It was sinking away from him. He caught it on the end of his fingertips.
Like this guy to come over the top, huh?
Yes, indeed. That means that ball will be straight, and if it sails, it'll sail up. It won't be sinking, and you can control that catch and throw much better as a shortstop.
Beauclair, the hitter in there, after taking this strike, now finds the count level on him at 1-1. The inning's still alive with Flynn on at first and Bittner not holding him on. The Cubs are out in front, 4-0. We're in the eighth. Beauclair, left-hander. Big swing, and he got barely a piece of it. Fouled it, climbs back up onto the net. 1-2 on him. Grounded into a double play in the fourth. And Bobby Mercer made a very fine catch on him in the sixth inning. Had trouble with his son. A lot of trouble with it on that one. Game with a man on. 1-2 pitch. Just missed the outside corner. He had Raiders starting into the dugout. Dave thought that would retire the side. Third umpire Crawford sent a hung. Missed the corner. Raiders still having a word or two as he squats to give the sign. Just turns his head a little bit. Stops the umpire. Now the pitch. And another ball missing outside at the letters. Raiders not very pleased with that one. He figures his rookie pitcher out there has been had on a couple of them. Runner at first to be off with this 3-2 pitch with two gone in the eighth. He goes. There's a swing and a ground ball to Keller at second. It's going to retire the side. It does. That's it for the Mets in the eighth. And Dennis Lamp still working on a shutout as the Cubs come to bat at the bottom of the eighth inning at Wrigley Field, leading the New Yorkers 4-0.
What is it?
The hash brown's past, hash brown.
Some people don't know McDonald's hash brown when they see it.
Your breakfast, Major.
Egg scrambled fresh?
Fresh scrambled eggs.
Sausage, pork,
Pure pork sausage, check.
muffin English,
Toasted English muffin.
and a funny-looking crispy thing.
Hash brown.
Perfect.
You check, Major.
A major breakfast. But even though a McDonald's hash brown may look a little funny, it certainly tastes good.
How did you do that? Do you want, ma'am? Stick all my little hash browns into one cute little patty. Oh, well, it'll take hours and hours.
A unique, funny-looking shape you can eat with your fingers.
Larry, don't eat with your fingers. But the man with the deep face, he said I could.
They are funny looking.
But they're delicious.
Well, I didn't ask delicious. I figured they were delicious.
Oh,
This is McDonald's.
Yes,
I'll have
funny.
some. I'll have some.
Get ready to smile.
McDonald's hash browns, crisp and golden on the outside, tender on the inside.
Just like a real famous fry.
But still funny, man.
So don't leave breakfast.
Remember the pounding the Cubs gave to the San Diego Padres out here one day last year, pretty early in the season. John McNamara, then their manager, going to his bullpen, and one of the guys he brought in was Butch Metzger. There were 3 straight home runs off of him that day. Before the Padres got out of town that night, they were going up to Montreal. Metzger was no longer a member of the ball club. They sent him down to St. Louis. He faces Olivares, and that pitch is the ball. Young right-hander, curveball, and it's in for a strike. Hard to figure out the year he had, Lou, because first year up as a reliever, he was just outstanding. Yes, he was. He was one of the best relief pitchers in the game. Pitch profiled on the first base side. And, of course, there's nothing to say that Metzger can't come back, not only duplicate that first year with San Diego, but pile up several successful seasons as a reliever. He now sports a full beard. 1-2 pitch. Olivares takes it outside. 2-2. White Sox at Toronto. Gotten underway. 2-2 pitch. Outside. Ball 3, strike 2. Tom Underwood going for the Blue Jays today. There is a ball in too close. A leadoff walk in the 8th inning to Steve Olivares. That brings up Dave Rader. Walked intensely in the 6th inning. Francisco Barrios going for the White Sox today. He carries a 2-0 lead after 1 inning of play up in Canada as a result of Lemon's home run, his first of the year. Fastball swung out. A drive into right field. A base hit for Olivares. For Rader, rather. Olivares will have to stop at second. As Beauclair comes in, gets that ball into the infield in a hurry. A walk and a single. Cubs leading 4-0, nobody out. And Mick Kelleher, replacing Manny Trio at second base today, will be the batter. He got his first run batted into the year with a single in that 6th inning when the Cubs batted around. And they did all the damage after there were 2 men out. After Kingman's basket homer, 2 on, Olivares doubled. Rader was walked intentionally, and Kelleher singled him in. Squares away to Buck. And pulls the bat back from the ball a little low and away. Nobody out. Metzger from the stretch. With a look at second and a pitch. Kelleher takes it high. Throw to second. Olivares back in plenty of time. There's the ball a little bit high again. Kelleher up there trying to sacrifice, and there have been 3 pitches that have missed on him. Marty Corneo, rookie right-hander, throwing in the New York Mets bullpen. There is ball 4, too high. The bases are loaded. Now the pitcher, Dennis Lamp, going to be the batter, and pitching coach Rube Walker coming out of the Mets dugout. Doesn't particularly look happy either, does he?
No, he doesn't. And he's got a message, I think, from Torrey. And I don't believe Torrey's very happy right now. With 2 walks here in the 8th inning, and in between a single. So this is the ball game right here. 3 men on base. If we can get 1, 2, or 3 men in or more, we could just shut them out right here.
There's been very earnest conversation out there with these infielders, and of course, primarily the young pitcher, Butch Metzger. Led off the inning, giving a base on balls to Olivares. Then yielded a single to right field off the batter Rader, and now he has walked Kelleher, who was up there trying to sacrifice, and 4 pitches missed, and now he faces the pitcher, Dennis Lamp, who has shut out the New Yorkers on 4 base hits. Infield in. He's going to swing, but he takes the ball high and tight. What Dennis would like to do is just get one up in the air. Even though that outfield is pulled in, maybe he can bring in Olivares. 1-0 pitch. He looks, and it misses. Just away. 2-0. You know that Metzger's got to be talking to himself. 2-0 pitch. Caught the outside corner at the belt. Ball 2, strike 1. Taveras at third. Dave Rader at second. Over at first base is Mick Kelleher. Nobody out. Pitch swung on. It's a little fly ball into right center field. Who's going to get it? Mets weren't quite sure. Finally, Mazzilli came over and made the catch. Gets the throw in quickly towards the plate. And he wound up on all fours out there. He was looking at Beauclair. Beauclair was looking at him. And finally, Mazzilli, with a little final burst of speed, lunged out, grabbed the ball one-handed. They're lucky that one didn't drop, Lou.
Yes, Mel Paterno would have noticed that at the last moment, he would have stepped on the Bears in, even though the ball was shallow, because Mazzilli not only was fortunate in catching the ball, but he knew that Taveras may tag up, and his throw was wide of home plate by some 20, 25 feet.
But the bases are still loaded with one away, and it's now Ivan De Jesus in the batter's box. Triggered the 4-run sixth inning when he led off with a single. Martinez. Some little shiny object from the infield grass. Gave it to Cookie Rojas, who pitches it to Torrey in their dugout. Stretch by Metzger. Fastball, he swings and he pops it up. Infield fly rule called here. Going to be caught by Valentine. Bobby's got it. Walk, a single, a walk. Now they're two-way. Greg Rose singled in the third after popping up his first count at bat. Sacrifice in the sixth, and lined out. Steps into the batter's box. 4-0. Cubs leading the Mets. Bottom of the eighth. Oh, bright sunny day. First pitch. That takes a strike. Fastball away from him. Metzger working from the windup. There's a curve into the dirt, blocked nicely by Johnny Stearns. Preventing a wild pitch. Plate umpire Crawford wants to check that ball after it went into the dirt. Says it's okay. Ball 1, strike 1. Sox batting in the third. Still lead up at Toronto 2-0. 1-1 pitch. Fastball. Got a piece of it. Fouled it straight back. Ball 1, strike 2. With the bases loaded, 2 out, batting in the bottom of the eighth inning. Metzger working. Fires high with a fastball. 2-2. Greg swings, and there's a drive into center field, a base hit. Taveras coming around to score. Here's Dave Rader being waited to throw. He slides. He is out. We had to wait, and so did Crawford, the plate umpire, to be sure that Johnny Stearns had been able to hold onto the ball. But Burrow strides in his 5th run of the year with that single into center field that brought Taveras across the plate. Later thrown out by Mazzilli to Johnny Stearns to retire the side. But a run comes across in the 8th. 2 hits in the inning, a couple of walks. That's with 3 men left on. At the end of 8 innings of play, Dennis Lamp, who was allowed only 4 hits, goes out to the hill. He leads the New York Mets 5-0.
I'll handle this, Carol. It's our first new car, and this salesman is going to come at us like a ton of bricks.
But the sign says we make car buying a pleasure again.
I don't care what the sign says. Hi, can I help you? See, Carol, patronizing.
We're interested in the Cutlass.
I don't blame you. Fresh for us already.
Can we look around for a while? I'm not sure about color or equipment.
Listen, just take your time. If you have any questions or you want some help, I'll be right here. Now he's ignoring us, Carol.
Jack, that salesman is a pleasure to deal with.
Well, he won't be here when we need him. Watch. Yes, sir? Nice place you have here. Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
The cold weather. Game time, the temperature out here at 38 degrees. Paid attendance today. Better than it was for 2 games against Montreal. I think the total for those 2 games is a little bit under what we have here today. Paid 4,124. And Dennis Lamp is 3 outs away from posting a shutout for his first victory of 1978. He faces Steve Henderson, the cleanup hitter, a right-handed batter. First pitch, fastball. Henderson takes it inside for ball 1. Dennis has had only 1 strikeout. He caught Henderson looking back in the 4th inning to retire the side. And there's a strike. Walk 2 men. Stearns and Montanez. 1-1 pitch. Little bit high. Dropped the arm down that time. Wind up. And the 2-1 pitch. Anderson takes a fastball that just misses in above the knees. 3-1 on him. Used to think the ball player is chewing tobacco out there. All of a sudden today, give that gum a good workout. Here's a swing and a high fly ball. Mercer to his right. Bobby is under it. Reaches out to his right at the last moment and grabs that ball. He's got to not only play the wind, but he's got to play that very, very bright up sun. So Henderson out to open up the 9th inning. Montanez been on base twice. Led off the 5th with a double. Led off the 7th with a walk. Got as far as 3rd in the 5th inning, but that was it. He is 1 for 2. The left-hander looks at a strike. A fastball away from him. 0-1 delivery. Swung on, and a fly ball moving over is Kingman to his left. Davis there waiting. He's got it. 2 gone. 1 more. Dennis Lamp not only will have his first victory, it will be a shutout. It would be the first shutout by the Cubs this year, who have been blanked twice. Once by John Candelaria on opening day at Pittsburgh, and again over at New York against the guy who started this ball game today, Craig Swan. Here's Lee Mazzilli. Switch hitter. Reach once with a bunt single. He swings. Ground ball to Bittner. He's got it. Waves Lamp away. Unassisted put out. The ball game is over. And Dennis Lamp gets that souvenir baseball from Larry Bittner along with a handshake. The rookie has done it. Gone all the way. This is 3rd start of the season and shut out the New York Mets on a very fine 4-hitter. Final score: the Cubs 5 and the New York Mets nothing.
At Photomat Labs, we use Kodak paper for a good look.
How about that?
Yeah,
Photomat. I always go to the Photomat store.
I'm talking about the voice. The announcer.
It was a good voice. Very good.
Totally synthesized.
See this little guy right here? You got somebody in that vacuum cleaner?
Just put in a lot of facts about Photomat. It'll create its own commercial.
Create its own commercial.
Electronically created.
Well, push it then.
Okay. Photomat makes it so easy. It's a simple programmable talker. Spot.
So I should try to keep an open mind, even though I think it's a swinish idea.
I'll play it again, because Photomat is making it well. It's worth.
Now it's human, you see.
Just a minute. You go ahead, talk.
Well, I was thinking more Photomat than machines, you know, because Photomat is
My name is Spot.
Well, now it's done that right.
We have John. He's a real announcer. He usually does all the photos. John?
Yeah? His next voice is a real voice?
Take it, John.
What's better than a roll of good, fresh Photomat color print film? 2 rolls on sale. Pick a pair for as low as $1.99 and save even more when you buy 5 at the Photomat store.
Thank you, John.
Well, thank you.
The Cubs 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors, left 9. The Expos, no runs, 4 hits, no errors, left 6. Before a crowd of over 4,000 paid here this afternoon. 4,124 with a total of more than 4,200 in the house. Dennis Lamp pitches the first shutout for the Cubs in this 1978 season and his first victory. Craig Swan, the losing pitcher, 1-1. 2 hours and 8 minutes for this one. Oh, Lou, this kid's got to be happy. He ought to enjoy a big steak dinner tonight.
Yeah, I think that's his first major league shutout also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great performance, but this is an odd game. Let me tell you, in the 4-run inning at the Cubs, hit this ball.